Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, you're always stuck in the same place? Like you're running in circles chasing success, but it's always just out of reach. What if I told you that this isn't an accident? What if I told you that the system you live in is designed to keep you weak, poor, and controlled? Most people spend their entire lives playing a game they were never meant to win. But today, you're going to see the truth, and if you stay until the end, you'll learn how to break free from this trap once and for all. From the moment you're born, society feeds you a script. Go to school, get good grades, find a stable job, work hard, retire when you're old. Sounds familiar, right? But here's what they don't tell you. This script wasn't written for your success. It was written to keep you obedient, to keep you dependent on a system that profits from your time, your labor, and your fear. They don't want you to think for yourself. They don't want you to question why you're working 40, 50, 60 hours a week just to survive. They don't want you to understand how money really works, because the moment you do, you become dangerous, you become free. Think about this. If hard work alone made people rich, construction workers would be millionaires. Janitors would be driving sports cars. The truth is, the system was never about rewarding effort. It rewards control. The ones who own the game make the rules, and they make sure that you stay playing at the bottom. They convince you that security is found in a paycheck, that comfort is better than risk, that failure is something to be afraid of. But ask yourself, who benefits from that mindset? Not you. The people who benefit are the ones who own the companies you work for. The ones who collect money while you trade hours for a wage that barely covers your bills. And the worst part? They've trained you to accept it, to believe that this is just the way life works. They fill your mind with distractions, social media, entertainment, meaningless debates, anything to keep you too busy to think, too tired to resist, too afraid to change. But let me tell you something. Everything you've been taught about success is a lie. The real secret? The people who win in life are the ones who refuse to play by the system's rules. Right now, you have two choices. You can ignore this and go back to the life they've designed for you, working endlessly, staying comfortable, waiting for success that will never come. Or you can open your eyes, take control, and start thinking like the people who escape the system. Because freedom is not given, it's taken. Stay with me till the end, because I'm going to show you exactly how to break free, the mindset shift you need, the lies you must unlearn, and the steps to take control of your future. The system is rigged, but only if you let it control you. Now the question is, are you ready to fight back? Most people live their entire lives chasing security. They want a stable job, a steady paycheck, and the comfort of knowing they'll be taken care of. But here's the harsh truth. Security is an illusion. It's a lie you've been sold to keep you complacent, to keep you obedient. The system tells you to value safety over risk, to prioritize comfort over ambition. But let me ask you, has playing it safe ever made anyone truly successful? Look around. The richest people in the world don't work for a paycheck. They don't trade time for money. They don't sit around hoping for a raise or waiting for permission to live life on their terms. No, they understand something you were never taught. Control is the real currency of power. When you work for someone else, they control your time, they control your income, they control your future. And the moment they decide you're no longer useful, you're replaced. Just like that. But you were raised to believe that this is normal, that having a job means security, that a degree guarantees success, that if you just follow the rules, you'll be rewarded. But have you ever stopped to question why so many people who do everything right are still struggling? Why are so many people drowning in debt despite working every day? Why do so many retire with nothing but regrets? Because the system was never designed to reward you. It was designed to use you. Think about it. They dangle retirement in front of you like a prize, convincing you to waste the best years of your life working for a future you might never even reach. They make you believe that comfort is happiness, that avoiding risk is smart. But comfort is the greatest trap of all. It's how they keep you from thinking bigger, from taking control, from escaping. The longer you stay comfortable, the harder it becomes to break free. But here's the truth. Security isn't found in a job. It's found in your ability to adapt, to create, to build something for yourself. The people who truly win in life aren't the ones who play it safe. They're the ones who take risks, who invest in themselves, who refuse to be controlled by fear, because fear is how the system keeps you in place. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of stepping outside the lines. But every great success story begins with someone who is willing to do what others wouldn't. So ask yourself, are you living for security, or are you ready to take control? Are you going to let fear dictate your future, or are you going to break free from the trap? Because the moment you stop chasing security and start chasing power, everything changes. The system only has control over those who choose to be controlled. The question is, will you be one of them? From the moment you're born, you're being programmed not to be rich, not to be powerful, but to comply. Society doesn't want you to think for yourself. It doesn't want you to question the rules. It wants you to follow the path they've laid out for you without ever realizing that it's a trap. Think about it. As a child, you're full of energy, curiosity, and ambition. You dream big. You believe anything is possible. But then you're put into a system that slowly strips that ambition away. School doesn't teach you how to be successful. It teaches you how to follow orders. Sit down, be quiet, memorize this. Don't ask too many questions. Get good grades so you can get into a good college. Get into a good college so you can get a good job. And then spend the rest of your life working for someone else. But here's the catch. No one in power follows this system. The richest, most successful people don't trade time for money. They don't follow the same rules you were told to follow. They own the system. They write the rules. And they keep you distracted so you never realize it. They tell you to go into debt for a degree, convincing you that education is the key to success, while the wealthiest people in the world never needed a diploma to build empires. They tell you to save your money, to be responsible, while they use their wealth to invest, to multiply, to grow. They tell you to work hard, but working hard alone has never made anyone rich. If hard work was the key, construction workers and laborers would be the wealthiest people on earth. But they're not. Because the system isn't designed to reward effort. It's designed to reward strategy. And while you're busy working, struggling, barely making ends meet, they keep you distracted. They give you entertainment, social media, endless news cycles, all designed to keep you focused on things that don't matter. They want you arguing about politics, about celebrities, about things that have zero impact on your financial future. Because as long as you're distracted, you won't see the truth that you were never meant to win in this system. But here's what they don't want you to know. You can reprogram yourself. You can break free, but it starts with unlearning everything they've taught you. It starts with questioning the path you've been told to follow, because the moment you stop playing their game, the moment you stop believing their lies, you become dangerous. You become unstoppable. You become the one thing they fear, a person who refuses to be controlled. The choice is yours. Stay in the system or wake up and rewrite your future. Which one will you choose? Most people don't chase freedom, they chase security. But here's the truth. They're not the same. Security is an illusion, a trap designed to keep you comfortable, complacent, and controlled. The system convinces you that a steady job, a paycheck, and a retirement plan are the ultimate goals. But look around. How many people do you know who followed that path and ended up rich? How many actually won the 9-to-5 job? It's a leash. A paycheck? It's just enough to keep you dependent, never enough to make you free. You trade your time, your energy, your potential for what? A salary that barely keeps up with inflation? A pension that may or may not even exist by the time you retire? This is how the system traps you. They make you fear uncertainty. They make you crave stability. And because you fear losing what little you have, you never take the risks necessary to break free. They keep you too busy worrying about bills, taxes, and debt, so you never focus on building wealth. But here's the truth. The only real security is control. Not a paycheck, not a job, not a promise from some company that will replace you the moment it's convenient. Control over your time, control over your income, control over your life. That's real power. The rich don't work for security. They work for leverage. They build businesses, they invest, they create systems that generate money while they sleep. And because they're not tied to a job, because they don't depend on a boss, they are free. So ask yourself, are you truly secure, or are you just comfortable in your chains? Because the moment you recognize the trap, you have two choices. Stay inside and keep playing by their rules, or break free, take control, and rewrite your destiny. But breaking free requires something most people aren't willing to do. It requires courage. It requires stepping into uncertainty. And that's why most people never escape. But for those who do, the rewards are limitless. The power is yours. But you have to be willing to take it. Fear is the weapon they use to keep you in line. It's not the kind of fear that paralyzes you in an instant. It's the slow, creeping fear that wraps around your mind like chains. The fear of failure, the fear of losing everything, the fear of stepping outside of what's normal. From the moment you're born, they condition you to seek comfort, to avoid risk, to stay inside the lines. Go to school, get good grades, find a safe job, work until you're old, and then maybe, enjoy life. But deep down, you know something isn't right. You see people around you struggling, trapped in a cycle of bills, debt, and stress. They did everything they were told, yet they have nothing to show for it. Why? Because they were too afraid to step outside the system. The moment you start questioning the rules, they label you as reckless, crazy, or irresponsible. They tell you taking risks is dangerous, that trying to build something on your own is foolish, that you should be grateful for what you have, even if what you have barely keeps you afloat. But here's the truth. They don't want you to be independent. They don't want you to be self-sufficient. They want you afraid. Because a fearful person is easy to control. A fearful person will accept low wages, will obey without question, will never challenge the system that keeps them down. But fear is just a mental cage. It's not real. The people who break free, the ones who win, are the ones who refuse to be controlled by fear. They understand that failure isn't the enemy, mediocrity is. They take risks. They embrace uncertainty, and in doing so, they find opportunities that the rest of the world is too afraid to see. So ask yourself, what's really stopping you? Is it failure, or is it the fear of what others will think? The fear of leaving behind what's comfortable? The fear of stepping into the unknown? Because if fear is the only thing standing between you and success, then you've already lost. But if you can push past it, if you can face it, then there's nothing in this world that can stop you. They make you believe you have control, that you're making decisions, that your life is in your hands. But in reality, the choices you're given are nothing more than carefully designed illusions. Think about it. Go to school or be labeled a failure. Get a job or be seen as irresponsible. Work hard for decades or risk financial ruin. They give you options, but every path leads to the same destination: servitude. The system is built to keep you trapped in a cycle where you're too busy to question it, too exhausted to fight it. You work all day, come home drained, and turn on the distractions they feed you: TV, social media, entertainment, all designed to keep you occupied, to keep you sedated. And when you do feel that urge for something more, they have another trick. They sell you dreams, but only the ones they control. They tell you to chase degrees, titles, and promotions because those things keep you inside the system. They never teach you about real wealth, about ownership, about breaking free. Look around. How many people do you know who are truly free, who wake up every day and control their own time, their own money, their own life? Almost none, because the system doesn't teach freedom. It teaches dependence. But here's the truth. You always have a choice. The real choice. Not the ones they hand you, but the ones you create for yourself. The choice to stop accepting their rules. The choice to build, to take risks, to invest in yourself instead of the system that profits from your labor. Most people never see it. They stay trapped, following the path they were given, never realizing that real success, real power comes from stepping outside the illusion. It comes from rejecting the script you were handed and writing your own. So ask yourself, are you really in control, or are you just playing the role they assigned to you? Why don't people break free? Why don't they fight back, challenge the system, and take control of their own destiny? The answer is simple. Fear. Fear is the most powerful weapon ever created. It keeps people weak, obedient, and unwilling to take risks. It stops them from chasing their dreams, from building wealth, from escaping the system that controls them. The worst part? This fear isn't natural. It's engineered. From the moment you're born, they train you to fear failure. Schools teach you that mistakes are bad, that failure is shameful, that taking risks can ruin you. But the truth? Every successful person has failed 100 times more than the average worker who never even tries. They also condition you to fear judgment. You're trained to seek approval from teachers, bosses, and society to fit in, to avoid standing out, because standing out means attention, and attention means resistance. If you try to break free, people will mock you. They'll tell you you're crazy, that you should play it safe, follow the rules, and just be grateful. And then there's the fear of loss. The system convinces you that what little you have is everything, that if you take a risk, you might lose it, that stepping outside your comfort zone could destroy you. But here's the truth. Your security is an illusion. Your job can disappear overnight. Your savings can vanish with inflation. Your so-called stability is just another form of control. The rich, the powerful, they use this fear against you. They take risks while telling you to stay safe. They break rules while making you obey. They buy assets while convincing you to waste money on things that make them richer. But once you understand that fear is a tool, you stop letting it control you. You stop fearing judgment because the opinions of others don't build wealth. You stop fearing failure because failure is just another step towards success. And you stop fearing loss because the biggest risk is staying exactly where you are. So ask yourself, what's really holding you back? Is it the system, or is it the fear they planted in your mind? They tell you that you're free. that you have options, that you can shape your future however you want. But is that really true? Or is it just another carefully crafted illusion? Look at the path they lay out for you. Go to school, get good grades, find a stable job, work for decades, and retire when you're too old to truly enjoy life. There's not a choice. That's a script, a system designed to keep you occupied, distracted, and obedient. From a young age, you're given two options: succeed in school or be labeled a failure. Follow the rules or be punished. Get a job or struggle. But here's the truth. Real success, real wealth, and real power come from breaking this script. The people who make the most money, they don't follow these rules. They don't rely on a fixed paycheck. They don't trade time for money. Instead, they play a different game. They own businesses, invest in assets, and create opportunities. They understand that the system is built to keep the majority stuck in an endless cycle of survival. They don't participate in that cycle. They escape it. But here's the trick. The system makes sure you never even see this other path. They keep you distracted with entertainment, buried under debt, and terrified of risk. They make it seem like working 40 years for someone else is the smart choice, while chasing financial freedom is risky. And so most people stay trapped, thinking they have a choice, when in reality, they are just following a script written by someone else. But the moment you see through the illusion, everything changes. You realize that real freedom isn't given, it's taken. It's built through knowledge, action, and the courage to step off the path they set for you. So the question is, are you willing to break free? Or will you keep playing a game that was never meant for you to win? Fear is the greatest weapon the system uses against you. It's invisible yet powerful. It doesn't chain you physically, but it paralyzes you mentally. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of uncertainty. These fears keep you exactly where they want you, controlled, obedient, and too afraid to take risks. From childhood, you're conditioned to believe that security is the highest priority. Get a stable job, don't take too many risks, play it safe. But safe is just another word for stuck. The richest, most successful people in the world, they weren't afraid to fail. They weren't afraid to take risks. They weren't afraid to break the mold. The system programs fear into you because fear makes you easy to control. If you're afraid of losing your job, you'll stay silent. If you're afraid of failing, you won't even try. If you're afraid of what people will say, you'll never step outside the lines. Fear is the lock on the cage they've built for you, and the only way out is to face it head on. The truth is, failure isn't the real danger, inaction is. Playing it safe won't make you rich. Avoiding risks won't make you powerful. Staying in your comfort zone won't change your life. The only way to truly break free is to act despite your fears, to take control of your own life even when it feels uncertain. Because once you stop fearing failure, you start winning. Once you stop fearing judgment, you start growing. And once you stop fearing risk, you start living. The system only wins if you stay afraid. The moment you choose courage over comfort, you take back control. Most people live their entire lives believing that security equals success. A steady job, a fixed salary, and a predictable routine. This is what society teaches you to strive for. But here's the truth. Security is an illusion. Think about it. That secure job, someone else controls it. Your salary, someone else decides it. Your time, someone else owns it. The moment your boss decides you're no longer needed, that so-called security vanishes. You are replaceable, expendable, trapped in a cycle where your survival depends on someone else's approval. The system wants you to believe that security is the ultimate goal because it keeps you obedient. If you fear losing your job, you won't challenge authority. If you're comfortable with a fixed income, you won't seek financial independence. If you're told that risk is dangerous, you won't try to build something for yourself. And that's exactly how they keep you trapped, by making you fear the very thing that can set you free. But the wealthy, they don't chase security. They chase control. They own their time, their income, and their decisions. They build assets instead of relying on paychecks. They create opportunities instead of waiting for them. They understand that true security isn't found in a job. It's found in freedom. If you want to escape the system, you have to stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like an owner. Ownership is power. Independence is security. The more control you have over your life, the less anyone can control you. The system will tell you it's too risky, that you should be grateful for what you have, that stepping out on your own is dangerous. But the real danger? Staying trapped in a life where someone else controls your destiny. The choice is yours. You can continue playing it safe, following the script they gave you and hoping for a better future, or you can take control, embrace uncertainty, and create the life you were meant to live. Because in the end, the only real security is the one you build for yourself. From the moment you were born, your mind has been shaped by the system. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your fears, they were all planted in you by someone else. The school system trained you to obey. The media trained you to consume. Society trained you to stay in line, follow orders, and never question the rules. And the worst part, you believed it. You believe that success means getting a degree, finding a job, and working for 40 years. You believe that money is hard to make, that wealth is reserved for the lucky, and that power is only for the privileged. You are programmed to think small, to fear failure, and to stay within the limits set for you. But here's the truth. Your mind is your greatest weapon, and they've turned it against you. Every time you doubt yourself, that's the system winning. Every time you hesitate, every time you make an excuse, every time you tell yourself it's too hard or I'm not good enough, you're reinforcing the chains that keep you trapped. The system doesn't need to control you directly. It only needs to control your mind. Because once you accept limitation, once you believe you're powerless, you no longer need to be forced into submission. You'll submit willingly. The rich, the powerful, the successful, they don't think like you. They have reprogrammed their minds. They don't see limits, only opportunities. They don't fear failure, they embrace it. They don't wait for permission, they take action. And that's exactly what you need to do. If you want to escape the system, you have to change the way you think. You must unlearn everything they taught you about success, money, and power. You must challenge every belief that keeps you weak. You must refuse to live by the rules designed to keep you ordinary. Stop asking, can I do this? And start asking, how do I do this? Stop saying, I don't know enough, and start saying, I will learn whatever it takes. Stop thinking, what if I fail? And start thinking, what if I win? Because the moment you take back control of your mind, you take back control of your life. The system wants you to stay blind, stay weak, and stay afraid. But once you see the truth, once you break the mental chains holding you back, you become unstoppable. Fear is the most powerful weapon the system uses against you. It's invisible, but it controls every part of your life. It stops you from taking risks. It keeps you in a job you hate. It forces you to follow rules that don't serve you. And worst of all, it convinces you that escaping is impossible. Think about it. How many times have you wanted to start something new, but fear held you back? Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of losing what little you have. The system has trained you to be terrified of stepping outside the box because the moment you do, you realize that the box was never locked in the first place. They tell you that if you quit your job, you'll struggle. If you invest, you'll lose everything. If you start a business, you'll fail. If you think differently, you'll be rejected. Fear, 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 fear. That's the prison they keep you in, and as long as you listen, you'll never escape. But here's the truth they don't want you to know. Fear is an illusion. It's a shadow, a trick of the mind. It only has power over you if you believe in it. The people who break free, the millionaires, the entrepreneurs, the leaders, they still feel fear, but they refuse to let it control them. They step forward anyway. You have two choices in life. You can let fear dictate your future, or you can take control. You can spend your whole life waiting for the right time, or you can realize that the right time will never come. You have to act despite the fear. You have to walk into the unknown because the life you want, the wealth, the freedom, the success is on the other side of the fear you refuse to face. The system will never stop feeding you fear, but you don't have to swallow it. You can choose to step beyond it. You can choose to take risks. You can choose to fail and rise again. Because once you stop fearing failure, you become untouchable. And once you stop fearing the system, you become free. From the moment you were born, the system has been programming your mind. It taught you what to believe, what to fear, and what to accept as normal. It told you to follow the rules, get a safe job, save money, and retire when you're too old to enjoy life. But here's the truth. This programming was never designed to make you successful. It was designed to keep you obedient. Think about it. Why do schools teach you to memorize facts instead of how to build wealth? Why does society praise employees but look down on entrepreneurs? Why is taking risks seen as reckless while playing it safe is encouraged? Because the system needs you to stay average. It thrives on your weakness. It depends on your compliance. But here's the secret that separates the rich from the poor. They rewrote their programming. They rejected the rules designed to keep them small. They stopped believing in limits. They refused to be just another cog in the machine. And that is what you must do if you ever want to escape. The first step, question everything you've been taught. Why do you believe success is hard? Why do you think wealth is only for a lucky few? Who told you that failure is something to fear? The moment you start questioning, you realize that most of your beliefs are not your own. They were given to you by a system that wants you to stay where you are. The next step, Surround yourself with new beliefs. If you want to be successful, listen to successful people. Read books that challenge your thinking. Watch content that shifts your mindset. Cut out the negativity, the distractions, the voices that keep you small. Because your mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant in it will grow. And if you keep feeding it the same thoughts, you will keep getting the same life. But here's the real key. Act before you feel ready. You will never wake up one day completely fearless, completely prepared, completely confident. That's an illusion. Action creates confidence, not the other way around. Start before you're ready. Move before you have all the answers. Rewire your mind by proving to yourself that you can do what you once thought was impossible. The system will never hand you freedom, but if you take control of your mind, you take control of your future. The choice is yours. Stay programmed or break free. Fear is the weapon the system uses to control you. It's not chains or locked doors that keep people stuck. It's the invisible prison of fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of standing out. This fear is so deeply ingrained that most people don't even realize it's there. It operates in the background, controlling their every decision. Think about it. Why do people stay in jobs they hate? Why do they avoid taking risks? Why do they make excuses instead of taking action? Because they are afraid of what might happen if they step outside their comfort zone. The system wants you to be afraid. It wants you to doubt yourself, to hesitate, to stay exactly where you are. Because the moment you break free from fear, you become unstoppable. But here's what the rich and successful understand. Fear is a lie. It's an illusion created by your mind. The things you are afraid of rarely happen. And even when they do, they are never as bad as you imagined. The biggest regrets in life are never about the risks you took. It's about the risks you were too afraid to take. So how do you break free from fear? You face it head on. The only way to kill fear is through action. The more you do what scares you, the less power it has over you. Fear thrives in hesitation, in overthinking, in waiting for the right moment. But the right moment will never come. The only way to build courage is to move despite the fear. Understand this. Fear is the barrier between you and the life you want. Most people spend their entire lives running from it, but the ones who win are the ones who walk straight through it. Every successful person you admire once felt fear, but they didn't let it stop them. They acted anyway. And that is what you must do. You have two choices. Stay afraid and stay small, or step into fear and step into power. The system will keep telling you to play it safe, but safety is the biggest trap of all. Nothing great was ever built from comfort. The moment you stop letting fear control you, you take your first step toward freedom. The choice is yours.